very, very quickly. Usually takes a wee bit to get going. My internet might be a little bit quicker today or something. Hello, Callie Bear here. Welcome to, or back to my channel, as some people say. I'm just doing a impromptu live, as I want to do most of the time when I do go live. The last two have been scheduled, but not this one. I have not been doing research and development for the shop still, but I have been trying to be productive. So what did I do on Monday? Was like a sponge day, a gathering inspiration day, and I was watching a lot of tarot and art tube and enjoying that. And then yesterday was a crafting day. I've got some birthdays coming up for family and friends, so I was just making some cards and some gifts, because I pretty much always hand make cards, unless I really just do not have the capacity to, if like I'm either too busy or I just don't have the spoons. Hi Sandra, you're right, my love. This bloody hell, this cream my mum got me in my Christmas stocking. Bless her, my mum gave me a Christmas stocking full of stuff, but I didn't get to stay with her this Christmas again, but she still gave me a stocking. Like, I will be 41 in less than 2 weeks, but she insists on giving me a stocking. It's very sweet, but also I'm like, you don't have to do that. And she's like, but I want to. But yeah, she put this lovely smelling hand cream in, and that has a little pom-pom on it. I mean, I don't know if it's cruelty-free or to my usual strict standards that I would if I was buying it for myself. But I do try to make her cognizant of these things. But it's got like a little pink pom-pom on, which, let's be honest, I'm going to end up wearing this in some capacity, aren't I? Hello, Kaz. But yeah, it sinks in so quickly that you squeeze some out and like you don't even get to rub it into your whole hand before it's gone. This is like the 4th squidge I've put on my hands. My hands are so dry. They get terribly cracked and they bleed during the winter because cold weather plus radiators, central heating, plus the amount that I wash my hands. I actually have a little bit of a thing about washing my hands. It's a thing. Like excessively washing my hands. So yeah, I have hand cream by the soap dispenser in the bathroom, and then I have to have hand cream by my desk. I have hand cream next to my bed. I've got like 3 different things of hand cream, and then I usually have a hand cream in my little toiletries bag, like little bag that I have in my handbag or my backpack, depending on what I'm taking with me. Not that I'm really going anywhere other than medical appointments the last couple of years, but it's usually got a hand cream in there as well. Goodness me. Anyway, this is really boring, me just talking about my bloody hands. I love your tip, Cully. Thank you. This is an oldie but a goodie, this one. I'm sure you must have seen this before. I've had this. Me and my mum went shopping in Camden Market in January 2008, and I picked this top out. She said she wanted me because, she's like, I never know what clothes to buy you because you're all goth and stuff. And she's like, we live really well. I used to. She still does. I grew up near Camden Town, goth fucking central in London. And goth central probably in the UK, if I'm being honest. And so she said, let's go to Camden Market and yeah, get you some bits. And this was one of the tops. So this was one of my 27th birthday presents. We are now in January 2022, so it is 14 years old this year, because I will be 41 in less than 2 weeks. And yes, I'm still wearing it, and it's held up really well. It's Dark Side clothing. I've got a couple of theirs. I've got a zombie one as well. It's got really awesome zombie picture on it, and I remember it cost £16. £16, 14 years. That'll be £1 a year in 2 years. I would say that's pretty good price per wear. So anyways, Laurie Berry. Hello, Laurie Berry. I nearly said Laurie Belly then. Laurie Berry. Say that fast 3 times, 5 times. I used to be goth too old now. That is absolute bollocks that you are too old now, Sandra. Don't excuse my French. It's my channel and I'll swear if I want to. elder goth is a thing. And I know plenty of elder goths who were around in the 80s and are in their 50s and 60s. So you are never ever too old, you know. It's a state of mind anyway, so never too old. Look at me, I'm 41 and I'm rocking it. I've wavered on and off, like over through like my teens and my 20s and my 30s. I've had little dips where I'm like, I'm just gonna try this look and I'm just gonna try this look, and like Amy Winehouse, I always go back to black. And I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, I was like, do you know what, just fuck it, I'm just gonna embrace it, because there is no point in denying who I am, which is goth. You know. So yeah. Just see if there's anyone else in. You are the same age as my brother. He is 41 tomorrow. Oh, he's also a January baby. January babies. Yeah. My married name was much worse than Berry. Oh no, was it? I kept my surname when I got married. I'm not overly, I don't think it's like the most amazing surname in the world, but I just didn't want, it's still me, if that makes sense. But I've got a couple of friends who could not wait to get rid of their surnames because they hated them and very happily took their spouse's name on. Me and my husband nearly hyphenated ours, but we didn't in the end because we thought that's probably a bit wanky, isn't it? We just have our own. But yeah, so yeah, I've been filming, pre-recording 2 videos. Pre-recording, you heard that correctly. And they were 2. One was inspired by another video but isn't technically a tag, and one is a tag. So I will need to edit them. I then have also been doing like little intro, you know, like when people have like an intro for their video and it has a little bit of music and their channel name comes up, like an ident, I don't know what you'd call it. And I've been trying to create one of those for an intro and an outro, but I haven't quite hit on my vibe, as it were. I want to have like a bear on it because Callie Bear, but then little bears are kind of cute, and like, but really in real life bears would like rip your face off if you like messed with them. It's funny how we have like teddy bears, but really bears are pretty dangerous animals. So yeah, I've been trying to work around with that. So I don't know if I'll get those videos edited today, but I've at least got them filmed. Holy crap, it is so sunny today. It's like I've got like an angelic halo. Oh, I've been sweating my tits off in this room because it is a sunbox and it's like 6 degrees out, but because the sun is shining, it's like I'm melting. So I've got no sweater on, a tank top. I've taken me blinking slippers and socks off. I'm just here, it's sans socks. And if you know me, that is a big deal because if my feet are cold, I'm cold. So the fact that I am like sockless is a big deal, especially in January. And yeah, I'm like, I've got the window open, which has been a bit of a pain because there's been lots of drilling and construction because of where I live is being very redeveloped at the moment. So it's just like, I've had a bit of a headache listening to all that bloody drilling. Hopefully they've stopped now because it's getting later in the afternoon and tradespeople tend to knock off around sort of mid-afternoon. Hello, Joey. Lovely to see you. I preferred my previous surname, says Sandra. And Sarah D, hello again. Lovely to see you all. So yeah, so I did some pre-recording. I'm trying to create little idents for my videos. I'm like, come on, let's get back on the wagon. Like I said in my live chat on Sunday, I'm planning to merge my very neglected art channel with this channel, and hopefully some point in the next couple of months I will actually get off the pot and buy a bloody video camera so I can start doing some proper nice art videos. Although then there's going to be the procrastination in actually unboxing the camera and learning to use it because it just is, I'm intimidated by technology. I'm going to see if I can put my little doobly curtain up because holy shit, that is very, very bright. Let's see. I should have thought about this before, but the sun's really moving around. Let's see. Will that help? Will that help? I don't know. Is that better? That's a bit better. There we go. Ooh, cool tones because it's like a blue fabric. So I have been doing stuff for my channel. Yesterday I was doing a lot of crafting and making things. So yeah, I've been busy, but I haven't been doing what I'm meant to be doing, which is research and development for the shop. But I am an artist and sometimes the muse is elusive. So we will just see. Hopefully in the next week or so I'll get some done. Some done? That rhymes. I'm going to wet my whistle. But I wanted to talk about something that I haven't really felt for a few years since I did my depth year in 2019. And I started to make a point at the end of my last live, but I forgot to finish making it because I went on a rant, which is very on brand for me. In fact, I think one of the videos that I filmed this morning ended with a bit of a rant. And I'm like, I just can't make nice things. I just can't. I always have to just open my big fat mouth and have a moan or a bitch about something, and I'm sick of it myself, to be honest. But the record doesn't change because nothing ever changes, because we live in anyway. I'm just doing it again. See what I mean? It's so easy to get. I will not be drawn upon this. Anyway, on my live chat on Sunday, towards the end of the live chat, I spoke about feeling like I was maybe going to have a bit of a deck collecty year this year. And what I started to say was, I'm not spending money on going to restaurants or to the cinema or to gigs or to museums or any of those things. I'm not spending money on clothes or really on cosmetics or on going and getting my hair cut or massages or anything, right? And that's when I went into the rant, because I started talking about, being clinically vulnerable in a pandemic and just being sort of told that, well, if it's not safe, just stay indoors, which is essentially what a lot of clinically vulnerable people have been doing if they're able to. I do have friends that are clinically vulnerable that do have to go out to work. I'm lucky that I can work from home. So, it's a privilege in one way, but in another way, being stuck in your house for 2 years is also not a privilege, and sort of really highlights how sort of ableist our society is, and it's really brought out a real sort of slightly eugenics vibes from a lot of people as well, which is not great and very wearing on the soul, I must say. So that's where I went off on the rant. But my point was, I don't spend any money on anything else, and I don't have a huge amount of money because I'm trying to make money just through the things I make, and it's not exactly lucrative, but I'm trying, and that's something I want to build on further this year. I'm very grateful to those of you that have supported my little shop. It is amazing. But I'm very aware that I can only so much. I see people that make things that are a bit quicker to make, or that are sort of things that are printed out that they can send off, and they can make so many more sales in a year because they have digital downloads, things like that. They can make more sales because it's not relying on them to literally physically hand make every little bloody thing. And then I always go over top with little extras and the handmade cards and the handwritten them. So I really just do make a rod for my own back, but it's also part of what I feel makes my shop special, is that I really give a fucking shit. Honestly, I want every person to feel like they are receiving something really special when they receive one of my items, whether that's a pouch or a pair of earrings or a brooch or whatever it is. I want it to feel special, right? Because if you don't, otherwise you might as well just buy off from a mass market thing, right? You're getting a unique experience. So I'm not anyway, I'm going on a rant about my shop. Anyway, no, not a rant, but going on a side quest. That's the one. So I was saying that I'm not spending any spending money or gift money that I get for Christmas or my birthday on those things. So I have a little bit that I can spend, but also there's not much that I can do that is bringing me joy, sort of I can't just go to a coffee shop and hang out with a friend. I can't just go to the cinema and watch a film, which is one of my favorite things to do pre-pandemic. I can't just there's so many things that I can't really do safely, I should say, safely. because of the way that our country is handling the pandemic. So if it means that I'm going to fill that hole and bring myself joy through buying art supplies and stationery and tarot decks and notebooks and books, you know, reading books, reference books, whatever it is, and like takeaways, takeout, then so be it. Because at this point, going the 3rd year into the pandemic, 3rd year into shielding, I need, if it's stuff that's going to do it, then it's going to have to be stuff. I can't go overboard because I don't have the space for it, and I do need to clear out a lot of stuff, which I did a little bit towards the end of last year. But yeah, I'm like, do you know what? Fuck it. If I want to buy some stuff to make me happy, who, like, fine, judge me, but like, seriously, there's not much else I've got. Like, I can sit and watch films on Netflix and Disney Plus. Oh, I just remembered it's Wednesday, right? So Book of Boba Fett dropped today, so I can watch that later. I can watch Book of Boba Fett. I can, you know, binge Netflix series. I can watch TarotTube. I can make videos, but there's no, like, within these 4 walls, I'm not having an escape. So I think, you know, having fiction to read and having art supplies to create and tarot decks to like throw myself into hardcore, like, or like learning systems or whatever, then yes, so be it, because whatever gets you through at this point, right? Whew. Anyway, so that was the point that I wanted to make, which then led me to this live. I'm just going to have a quick look through. Do you have a very large deck collection? Not as large as some, but large enough. I haven't had a count for a while because my deck buying really slowed down. I did a depth year in 2019 and I was really, really strict with that. I really stuck to that pretty well. And then 2020 was an unintentional depth year because I wasn't really working and the pandemic was a whole thing and I didn't really have money to spend. And then last year it was more intentional because I was hoping to get rid of a bunch of stuff just generally in my flat, and that didn't happen, again because it's pandemic related. But this year, yeah, I'm just like, just give me all the things. I just don't. I won't get all the things, but you know what I mean. So I have like at least 120 decks, at least. Anywhere I would say in the ballpark of 120 and 150. Don't know quite how many though. I should probably do a count up. No, maybe I shouldn't, because maybe it might me feel bad. But the thing that I find that I struggle with, because I get quite overwhelmed with having so many decks, is I don't actually have anywhere to store them. Because I was like, oh, I need to get rid of a deck. There are decks I need to get rid of because I don't like them anymore, or I bought them on a whim when I shouldn't have, and I should have been a bit more sort of cognizant of what I was, a bit more discerning. And even when I got it, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to use this, and it should have gone. But there are other decks that I do quite like, but feel like, oh, because I don't get to use it much, that I should get rid of it. But the problem is I don't have the space for it. I don't, and they're all in boxes. There's these boxes here. So accessing the decks, it's a bit of a pain in the bum, and I do have to sort of go in and pull them out and have a rummage, and it's not like just pulling them off the shelves like I do with all my reference books, which are there and very easy to get a hold of. So yeah, I do have quite a large collection. I realized part of it is, yes, there are decks I want to get rid of, but part of it is also I just wish I had space for them, and if I get rid of some decks I might regret it, because simply because I didn't have the space, and maybe one day I will, and I'll be like, oh, why did I get rid of that, blah blah blah. So maybe one day when me and my husband can decorate the living room, we can get some more bookshelves in, and then that way he's got a lot of records that need to go up on shelves as well. I feel like our living room is literally just not going to have any wall space. It's just going to be shelves, shelves of CDs, shelves of records, shelves of books, shelves of texts, and then like very little else. We'll figure something out because we have very high ceilings. It's an old Victorian building, and we've got like 10 or 12 foot ceiling, not in here, this is an extension, but the floor down, the living room has very high ceiling, so we could probably get nice floor to ceiling bookshelves built in custom at some point and really utilize that space. So yeah, quite a large deck collection. And then the decks that I'm using that month or whatever, I have in this, which is right by my handily, right by here, which is my little tarot chest. And the decks that I'm currently using go in here, and the decks that I'm like using just go at the bottom, on the bottom shelf of my altar, which is a little hostess trolley, a 1950s hostess trolley. So yeah, I have this is mostly filled with comforting decks. I spoke about this in my live the other day. When was it? Friday or Sunday? I went through the decks that I find comforting, that I will be using, because I've just felt like I just need a big old hug, because I've been feeling very fragile and very tender, I think is the word to use. So I've been wanting tender decks, tender and comforting decks. New decks. I'm the same, Kate. I'm not spending money on any of those things either. Yeah, Sandra, it's a rough one. Oh, coffee. Who's having coffee? Sarah needs a coffee. How do you take your coffee, Sarah? I love it. Oh, thank you, Sandra. I have purged some of my decks. Oh, what decks have you been getting rid of, Sandra? Joey says, I did a depth year last year, so just so excited for this year in that respect, but with a lot of discernment. Joey, did you find that it really, really helped you? Because I really found that doing the depth year really helped me be more discerning. I don't think I've bought a single deck that I don't like since I did a depth year, which is pretty awesome. Also, I did start to get in that like FOMO thing, fear of missing out, where I was like, or I was getting caught up in the hype of a deck before I did my depth year. Whereas now I can see a deck, think, oh, that's nice, but not need to own it. So when I say I just want all the decks right now, I'm kind of being hyperbolic. Is that drilling too loud? It's annoying me. Can you hear that? Should I close the window? Fuck's sake. Bloody hell. London though, right? London life. So hi Kim. So there's decks that I want, but some of them are actually independent decks that I either missed the boat on, or I just didn't purchase because they were, they're pricey and kind of it's not like I can't really afford them. I could probably save up for them, but there are things that I need to spend my money on more. So then they always fall by the wayside, or I always go, oh, well, I'll just get this in this mass market deck instead, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with mass market decks. I've got some ones that my favorite deck is a mass market deck. But yeah, a lot of the decks that I like now that I want to pick up are independent decks that have been picked up mass market, and I'm sort of eyeing them up. So where's my deck list on in my planner? I've got a list of tarot, oracle, Lenormand, not so many Lenormand, but yeah, the main ones that are giving me the like, like I needs it precious are the Fyodor Pavlov deck, which is coming out. He did the final sale of the final decks from his Kickstarter on Monday on his Etsy shop. I did not purchase because I want to pick up the mass market version, purely because I think it's been picked up by US Games, and they generally produce really good quality decks and card stock and everything. So I trust them to do a good job. And I did check whether any of the cards would be changed, because it is quite saucy. It's a very erotic deck. And Pavlov said that they weren't changing any of the cards. If they were planning to change any of the cards, I would have just bit the bullet and bought them the independent version. So that's one of them. The Forhexa Tarot. Oh my God, I know that that's going into a second printing. It's independent, but I'm hoping it will go mass market like a lot of the creator. I can't remember her name. What's her name? But she did the Crows Tarot and stuff like that. I'm hoping that will go mass market, because, oh my God, I've never been drawn to her decks before, honestly, but This one, there's something about it that's really doing it for me. The Orion's Tarot has been picked up mass market. What is going on? So that one, I'm like, oh, again, another pricey one that is going to be more affordable. The Botanica deck, that looks like it's going to be about £40, but I'm hoping I can get that for around 30. That was an indie deck that's gone mass market. What else is it? The Wanderer's Tarot got picked up mass market. I didn't know that. Oh my goodness, what is going on? There's one that I saw which is like a mass market one called Cirque du Tarot, which is just scrumptious. The colors are so delicious. I can taste the deck. It tastes like a box of macaron, much like the Moon Baby Tarot, Brent's Moon Baby Tarot. I saw that there's a D&D tarot coming out. Hello, I play Dungeons and Dragons every week. I'm obsessed with Critical Role. I literally watch it every time I'm sewing pouches. So I'm like, I need that. Well, I'm going to wait and see what it looks like. And then the Zeke Arcana by the artist who runs who has the Zeke's Lunchbox Art YouTube channel. I love her artwork. I completely missed the fact that she'd had a Kickstarter. That was one I would have backed, because her deck, it's not going to be for everyone. It's like if Lisa Frank's art and the Skull Garden artist, Andrew Schwartz, had a baby, that's what the deck would be. It's like Lisa Frank meets Skull Garden. It is like, yeah, like the wooden tarot had a baby with like Lisa Frank's artwork. I mean, holy mackerel. So yeah, there's some of the main ones that I am like drooling about. I've got goosebumps thinking about them. There's like a whole bunch. I'm like, just write them all down. It doesn't matter. The Tattoo Tarot, Ink and Intuition, is meant to be arriving tomorrow or Friday. Because I got that for it was reduced to £8. And I'm like, well, it would be rude not to buy it. It's been on my wish list since it came out, but I always held off because I'm like, well, I don't need it. But it's £8. I'm like, honestly, when is it going to be £8 again? Just buy it. I'm hoping it's not going to be counterfeit. If it is, I'm going to be so mad. But it had like the name of the deck creator and everything. So we will see. If it is fake, I will be very annoyed. So yeah, they're like the main tarot decks. And then I'm quite liking the look of the Seed and Sickle Oracle. Oracles. Skull Garden's Pathfinders Oracle, I've wanted for ages. I wish I'd bought that when Beth Maiden was stocking that in her shop, Little Red Tarot, but I didn't because I am a silly. Well, it was because I was on a depth year. That's why. The Wild Unknown Archetypes has been really sort of calling to me, and I really like the look of the Woodland Wardens deck, which is coming out soon. I'm also is resisting the urge to get the Oak Ashen Thorn. It's so beautiful. And then there's the Oak Ashen Ember. Like, they're both so beautiful, and I love animal decks, and I'm just like, oh, we will see. How have those not been packed up mass market, by the way? Hello. I've also really liked the Blacklight Tarot by Deck Collectibles that did like the Winter Weight and the Dead Weight and the Tripping Weight and the Groovy Weight. I really like that. And then there's loads of other more fun, like the Disney Villains Tarot, the Labyrinth Tarot. Like, there's loads. Tarot de Miricelia, that little tinned one, that I wanted since that came out. So many decks. So yeah, I'm just like, I'm not saying I'm going to get all of them, but I don't even know if I want all of them. I will have to think very carefully about which ones I bring into my life. But like I did say the other day, on Saturday, the most impulsive, quickly purchased deck I've ever bought was the Cthulhu Dark Arts Tarot. Literally within 3 or 4 minutes of starting to watch this video about it, I was like, oh my God, I have to have it. It was this really weird thing. And I don't think I've ever done that quickly. So yeah, so I haven't done a walkthrough of this. I showed a few cards on my last live, but I know that there's a few people that have already done walkthroughs. But I just loved the back. I loved the colors. I loved the artwork. I loved the size and shape of it, even though it's kind of a bit unwieldy. But yeah, I wanted to show a few more of the cards because the lighting was really bad because it was nighttime. This is the Fool. And the pips are literally just, the pip cards are pips. mean, look how spooky. I mean, I don't know enough about Lovecraft's work. I've purely avoided him for so long because it always just sounded like a right bell end. But it doesn't mean that some of the stories he's written aren't good. I don't know. It's really, oh God, it's so tricky to like disentangle stuff from the creator. You know, when they say separate the art from the artist, and sometimes I can do that and sometimes I can't. Like, it's really, really tricky. I think it also depends on whether that person is alive or not, or what the transgressions are. Like, I don't know. It's really, really tricky. So yeah, there's a pip card. And this wasn't created by, you know, Lovecraft. That'd be fucking weird if it was, considering he's as dead as a door now. It was created by, you know, an independent artist and their little publishing company, I think. What's the name of them? Caninos is the people that published it. Developed by, that's it, Bragelonne Games. I think it's French, from what I remember. They've created it. They've been inspired by. So it's through their filtered through their creative vision, you know. So I'm supporting the artist and this independent game producer rather than, you know, Lovecraft himself. So yeah, I'm not. I don't think I'll be buying every single deck on my list. That's the famous last words. I think I could afford to buy every deck on the list. But anyway, I'm going to have a quick look through the old live, the chat thing. The chat. That is such a cute case. Thank you, Laurie. That case, my mum used to be a bouncer at a nightclub and pub place, and it was one of the Bacardi promotional things that they sent out, because like people that run bars and pubs, they get sent all sorts of random stuff, and she gave it to me because the bar staff, there was quite a few of them got sent, and a bunch of the bar staff took one each, and there was a spare one, and my mum said, oh, I think my daughter will like that, can I take it? And they were like, yeah. I think it was about 10-15 years ago. I don't know, I'm just guessing. And I just covered it in stickers. It's got fake stickers on it already. Like, some of the stickers are printed on. And I was like, it's kind of cheesy because it's Bacardi and it's like promo. So I just carried on covering it with stickers. But yeah, it's really handy. It's a good size. It's quite heavy though, with all the decks in. Quite a lot of Marseille or Pip decks, and also some Oracle decks. Are these the ones that you got rid of, Sandra? A little cream and sugar, it's my treat, says Sarah. That's how you take your coffee. I'm such a like typical goth. I have my coffee black, no sugar. Though I have become partial to an oat milk flat white over the last couple of years. So, but that's the exception to the rule than the rule. I love flavoured coffees too, especially chocolate. I don't really like chocolate in my coffee. I used to only drink flavoured coffees because I actually didn't like coffee. And then I had one, I ended up having an actual nice espresso somewhere, like a proper coffee. And it's like, oh, I get it now. Like, if you have a good coffee, none of this like instant stuff or like all the stuff with the like sugar and stuff, syrups in it, and you can actually taste it, and the coffee is really good quality. And then I started to like really get into coffee, although the last time I had a coffee was probably about 5 weeks ago. I always tend to love decks that are more pricey. Typical, says Sandra. Oh, the strugglers were real. But that's the thing, that's why I'm so pleased to see so many independent decks becoming picked up mass market. The yeah, love for the Fahaxa. Everyone's loving the Fahaxa. I always get nervous. Yeah, they're going to sell out. Yeah, I've missed the boat on decks loads of times. You snooze, you lose, right? I have Kelly F's Journey Oracle on my indie list and a few others. I just have to save to get them. Oh, fair enough. I've got Kelly Fitz's Journey tokens, which are really, really cool. Yeah, right. £8 for a whole last tarot deck. I really hope it's not a fake. What's indie? Which one are you asking? Is it? It's cool, Sandra. The Cthulhu one. Do you know the spirit cards by John Mosley? Lots of animals on those. Beautiful linen cardstock. I like oat milk and coffee, says Sandra. Oh, you have the tokens as well. Cool. I saw Kelly do that walkthrough of the Wild Compendium. The Wild, what was it? The people by the same woman, Maya Tolls, who did the like the herbiary, the bestiary, the crystallary, and she was showing that she uses the little cards that you pull out the back of the book to pick a stone, an animal, and a plant when she's using her journey token. So originally what you get with the set is a D20, which is like a dice I use for playing Dungeons and Dragons. Got 20-sided dice. And you roll that, and then you have a list of correspondences. And she provides one in her guidebook, and she provides a blank space for you to write your own association, should you wish. If you roll 1 to 20, that's your, you know, and whatever one it corresponds with, that's the plant energy or the animal energy or whatever that you read with for this reading. I think it's a really fun and clever like thing to add in. But she's been using the deck, shuffling the animal deck, the crystal deck, the plant deck, and pulling from that. And there's more than 20 options from that. I can't remember how many. I think there's like 36 cards in those decks, possibly, maybe a bit more. I'm not quite sure. So you get more options, and I was like, oh, that's bloody genius. I think I have to get those books now in order to. I've wanted them for a while, but again, I'm like, would I use them? But this would give me like a legit reason to use them. Hello, Stephanie. Oh, were your ears burning because I was just talking about how beautiful your decks are and how I'm like, firstly, like just going, oh, because I'm in the market for some more decks, and I'm like, they're so beautiful, your decks. But also, like, how have they not been picked up mass market? Because have these people seen these decks? So yeah, if your ears were burning, Stephanie, that is why. But yeah, the Cthulhu deck, it's a pip deck, so it might not be your thing. You're not feeling the pip cards, Sandra. That's understandable. And that's what I was saying in my live chat. The funny thing was that shush, who can you hear that? Can you hear me talking still? Or is that, I just need to know if I need to close the window or not. Oh my God, giving me a bounce ache. You find pips difficult. Yeah, so the woman that I was watching, oh, what was it? Her name of the channel? I can't remember. Something Mermaid, I want to say. Anyway, she was doing this. She was talking about this deck, and she was like, I hate that it's a pip deck. I hate when people do pip decks because it just feels lazy. And hi, Yoshi. And like she was like really annoyed that it was a pip deck, but actually I like that this is a pip deck and it works for being, you know, for what it is. And also hey Deanne, you all right, my love? But also I think, because the reason I am happy that this is a pip deck is because I love me some pip decks, but also look how intricate the artwork is. If you've got an entire like deck of really intricate, like fine line work, like you're doing a bigger reading, that is a lot for your brain to take in. So I'm really quite relieved that it will be interspersed with simpler cards. The one thing I would say is a little bit of a gripe is that the background on every single suit, so whether it be, you know, these amazing skull cups, which are very similar to the ones in the Tarot del Toro, which is like, I love, or it's, you know, these ones, or let's find some swords, or the swords, let's find coins, which are like little throwing pentacles, like little throwing stars, but pentacle shaped. I do wish that they had done the background a different color for each, but it's this sort of muted gray and black and bluish, blue toned gray and black, and I'm like, I would have preferred a slightly different color. So because the white border doesn't go around onto the back, thank fuck, because I cannot stand that, especially on a borderless deck. No, I don't mind that. It's on a borderless deck that doesn't. I'm thinking I'm going to be that annoying person that colours the borders in. I've never coloured the borders in on a deck before, but I'm going to deck mod it. What do you reckon? So I'm going to do, so then the, I'll just leave the majors. I will leave with the whites. Well, it's an off-white. It's more like a creamy white. I'm going to leave that because then that will denote the majors. And I feel like the majors are so busy that they need that monochromatic border. and then I'm going to color these in. So it's going to probably look a little ropey because it's like I'm going to use alcohol markers. I might need to buy some in, and I need to decide what colors I'm doing, and it's going to be a bit of a labor of love, but I do think it will be worth it. So where's Patrice popped in? Hello, Patrice, you all right, my dear? And Regina, hello, Regina, lovely to see you. Welcome. Willkommen, mein Liebchens. Wie Gott es vielen geht es dir? So yeah, I am excited to have a play with this. So yeah, there's a few. One of the decks that I've pre-recorded was inspired by Dawn Michelle over at Boho Tarot, where she's talking about 10 decks that she wants to work with in 2022. So I do need to edit that and get that all sorted out. But I will. This one wasn't on that list. Even though I do want to work with it, but it's more like the decks that I already own that I want to work with, that I feel like I need to connect with a bit more. This is literally just new, so I know I'll be playing with this. I'm gonna like be looking to get some more like notebooks and journals. I'm very excited. You are brave, Kelly Bear. My OCD would be in overdrive if I had to mod. Funny thing, I am genuinely diagnosed with OCD, but yet I am a destroyer of decks, as I joke. I think it's because I'm so used to creating and making, like, to me, and it wasn't expensive. It's the mass market. I'm less inclined to do that on like a pricey indie deck, like color in the, you know, the borders. Although I think I've trimmed indie decks. You know, if it means I'm going to use it, I'm pretty confident with scissors because I was a pattern cutter for like 7 or 8 years. I was very handy with a set of shears, so I feel okay with the with the old skizzars. Tiny trinkets. And hello, sneaking in late. It's not late. How long? Oh shit! I've been live for almost 42 minutes. Oh my god, what have I even been talking about? So, deck lust. What deck are you all lusting after? What are the like main, like say like the top 3 decks that you're like excited? And I mean like decks that are coming out this year. Like the last 2-3 years, I've not really allowed myself to look at what decks are coming out. I haven't kept on top of Kickstarter. I haven't been keeping up on like walkthroughs and things like that. I've just not, because I'm like, I already have enough. But like I said at the beginning, at the top of the video, I'm like, I don't have much else going on other than like, you know, Netflix and pouches and D&D. And, you know, I love them, but with 2 years down into this pandemic, I'm going to need some other things. And I think throwing myself into reading some more fiction and studying the tarot. Oh, you know, I've done my like, what's the one? Marseille and Pip study and things like that. But I'm feeling the need to delve into some situational Pip decks, scenic Pip decks that deviate from the Smith weight, because, you know, a 10 of swords or a 3 of cups in a Pip deck is very much a muchness. And once you've got that system like locked into your brain, there isn't much. And that's what I was enjoying about the Pips and the Marseilles, is that it's very that's what it is. If depending on how you read it, once you've got your system locked in, it's locked in. Whereas I was getting annoyed with having all these different decks that were very sort of nebulous, and this artist has interpreted it this way and this artist has interpreted it this way, and I'm like, just give me the mix, just like da-da. And I know some people will just read, no matter whether it's a Thoth or a Marseille or a random Pip or a Smithway or some other deck that's doing its own thing, they will read the 9 of Swords as the 9 of Swords and the 5 of Cups as the 5 of Cups. But I'm not like that. If I've got a situational scenic Pip card in front of me, yes. If it's Smithway, yes, I'm going to be looking and interpreting from those traditional meanings. But I'm also a very, very visually orientated person. So I'm also going to be driven and inspired by what I'm looking at visually, and you know, the more that an artist deviates or reinterprets that particular meaning, you know, the more there is to work off. But it was getting to the point where I was probably feeling a bit too overwhelmed with it, and I was really getting into Pip decks, and now I'm getting to the point where I'm hungry for that. And that's the thing, right? Like you change and grow on this journey with tarot. I think it is amazing that, you know, I read with Marseille and Pip decks. I would never, even 5 years ago, I would have been like, no, I don't think so. Have you met me? And now I will like throw down a random Pip deck happily and read from it. And I love it. You know, I have got like your taste changes. So I was talking about how I love me some dark and creepy decks, and I've literally just bought this one. But all of the decks that I've pulled out to work with in my little tarot case are very gentle and soft and affirming and comforting and like little hugs in decks, because I have been feeling so fragile and tender. And so I love that tarot can give you what you need at that time. And there is always, and I know we say this all the time, there is always something to learn. There's always somewhere to explore. There's always a rabbit hole to go down. You know, are you learning Marseille? Are you learning Smith-Waite? Are you learning to work with the Thoth? And they do I know their tarot is tarot, but they do deviate in you know, to a certain extent. And there's so many different ways to read, you know, different ways to read tarot. Are you using numerology? Are you using astrology? Maybe you're using herbs like I do. Are you using all sorts of things? Are you relating it to music? Or there's just so much. And then there's so many different decks. And I think the benefit of having a larger collection, or a sort of a varied collection, it doesn't have to be 100 or more decks. You could have like 10 really varied tarot decks that scratch a different itch or provide something different, that serve a different need. So you have like your dark and creepy deck. You might have your sort of more stripped back, minimal, cool, clear-headed deck. I immediately think of the Fountain Tarot when I think of that. You have your comfort little hug deck. That would be my ultimate hug deck, is the Tower of the Magical Forest for me. You might have a classic Marseille, a classic Smith-Waite, and a classic Thoth. So you've got those bases covered. You might have an animal deck, or, you know, there's just something for everyone. You might want like a cosmic or spacey deck for that sort of grand overarching feel of the cosmos. Like, there's just, you know. So yeah, I started with Osho Zen. I learned about the Smith-Waite. I've gone through the Marseille and Pips. I started picking up Thoth at the beginning of last year. That tailed off, but I will be picking that up again this year. And I was going through, which is kind of a Pip deck, isn't it, the Thoth? And now it's moving into, yeah, I'm going back into situational decks. And now it's like, I would usually read Marseille and Pip decks freestyle. I generally don't use spreads, positional spreads. I just sort of lay them out 3 cards, 6 cards, 9 cards, and I have at it. Whereas I feel like situational Pips, like the Smith-Waite or the Sasarai Bito or whatever, they lend themselves a bit more to a situational spread. And I think that's maybe why I moved so much away from them, because I was positional spreads, because I was reading so much with Marseille and Pip, and I didn't find like it was working for me. So I'm going to go see what decks you were saying you're most excited about this year. Yum, yum, yum. Ooh, this is everyone's saying hello to each other. Oh my god, can this person stop drilling? They have been drilling on and off since I started work this morning at 9:30 a.m. It is now 5 to 3, and it's been too warm for the most part to have the window closed. I have a headache. Forever ago, I told Kelly Bear I tried trimming with some garbage scissors and it didn't go well. She was like, well, yeah, that wouldn't work well. Sorry to be perfectly blunt, but it's probably about as blunt as those scissors were, was it, dear? I'm sorry. Well, yeah. I'm lucky. I have my pattern cutting shears that I use professionally. Actually, these are my personal ones. They're pattern cutting shears. Tell a lie. No, one of them are. they're a bit. These are my pattern cutting shears. They do need sharpening and oiling because I haven't used them for a while. And then I've got my card shears up in my sewing box. But yeah, I know some people will use a guillotine. I know that Dawn Michelle over at By Her Tarot uses a guillotine, but I've always just used scissors because I'm handy with a pair of scissors. So I'm just like, I'll just use scissors. And I've got some nice some of my fabric shears that I've had. These are what I cut my these need oiling, cleaning and oiling as well. Can you hear? Because all the fluff from the felt, cutting the felt. But I used to use these to cut clothes, and now I use them mostly to cut pouches. I should probably, if I do start making clothes again, pattern cutting, I'll probably buy a new pair of shears just for clothing and keep these as my like pouch pair. But yeah, you do need a good pair of scissors, and you need a steady hand, and you need to take your time. I've definitely fucked up. Like I fucked up trimming decks where I've trimmed off the title of the pip cards and then got to trimmed off the titles to the majors and then got to the pip cards and realized that the pip cards don't have titles, so now the majors are shorter than the minors and there's nothing to cut off the minors. I did that with the Deviant Moon bordered edition. I was like, oh bollocks. Oh dear. Or like I re-edged my Raven's Prophecy tarot. I can't remember what color I edged it in. I can't remember if it was black or orange or something. And I re-edged it in this like copper pen because like, oh, this will look baller. And then it's like really gross and sticky, and you can barely shuffle the deck. Also, I had been using a slender corner rounder, small corner rounder on it. And then I had both corner rounders out on this desk, and then accidentally used my large chunky corner rounder. And I was like, oh my God, I'd gotten through halfway through the deck. And it even like ate into the titles of the cards because it was cutting off quite a bit of it. And I was like, oh my God. So then I had to go back, cut all of the titles off the card, which I didn't want to do. I wanted to actually keep the titles. I just wanted to get rid of the orange borders. And then I had to re-corner the entire thing and go back to it. And I keep saying one day I will rebuy that deck and mod it as I had originally intended. But it's like between the large corners, the titles coming off, and the like sticky like edges, I just get so annoyed with it that I don't use it as much, which I'm so upset about because I love that deck. I mean, it's mass market, it's not hugely expensive, but when there are other decks that I don't have that I want, and when it comes to spending that bit of money, I will buy a deck I don't have rather than a deck I already have. Like I don't have a backup of the Magical Forest. I probably should at this point because it is like my darling love of all time. But would it be as special to me if I bought a new version and I had to use it? Because the version that I use came to me at a certain point in my tarot journey. It was gifted to me at Christmas by my spouse. You know, like, I don't know if it would be as special, but they're so cute. I love that deck. So yeah, it's a tricky one. Let's see. I'm hoping and praying for the reprinting of the Delta Enduring. Oh yeah, that's one I've not thought about for a while. I'm not sure yet about yet to be released decks I want. What about decks that have been released, Deanne? I have a few on the way. I'm particularly excited to receive the Forager's Daughter Afterlight edition. I've not heard about that. And the Embroidered Graveyard Oracle. Well, I'm gonna have to check that out because hello, embroidery, right up my street, and graveyard. Have you met me? Embroidered Graveyard Oracle. Although I'm not massive on Oracle, but I'm looking to use Oracle a bit more this year. Incorporate it a lot more actively, not just as an afterthought a lot of the time. I got impatient and wanted the thing trimmed. What happened? Oh, Sandra, Deanne's talking about the deck. I don't know of many new releases at the moment. I have things on my list, but they are last year's. Oh, but still share. Either way, I don't mind. This is not new, but I really want the Future Ancestor Tarot. I've not heard of that one. Love my pip decks, but most people I read for want pictures on the table. I can understand that, Joey. I mean, whenever I've read for friends and family, they've always wanted a situational pip deck as well. Although I've had readings, I think the first ever reading I had was my sister's friend's mum at Camden Market. I was about 14 or 15, and she was using the Thoth, if I recall. I think it was a greenie as well, and that's kind of pippish, isn't it? And I've had readings at like other like fairs and stuff with readers that just use like a Marseille, so I didn't really think about it until much later. Donna, hello. Bye, Orshi. Oh, that was like 10 minutes ago. Sorry, I missed you, Orshi. I am super excited for Lisa Santina's Destiny deck, Twilight and Midnight. I've never heard about that. Is that a tarot, Diane? And then from Kickstarter, and Aliman's Tarot. Patrice is excited for Stephanie's deck. Oh my God, the little dragons. Oh dear. Diane loves pips. What, Diane? Hello. Hello, Kelly, back on my deck lusting pals. Yeah, so I put in the tag in the description box. I have the urge to splurge, which once I press go, I was like, actually, that has different connotations when I think about lust. That was unintentional double entendre. I am crass even when I don't mean to be. Such is life. An oracle deck is next. Oh, is that the graveyard one? I have a SAE coming as well. What's an SAE? Am I being really daft and not realizing what that is? Because all I hear is stamped addressed envelope when I read that. And I'm pretty sure you don't have a self-addressed envelope. Sorry. There is a deck that was created by a local witchy shop that I really, really want. Oh, cool. That would be cool to support local as well, right? Do you know what it is called, Regina? And is it something that they'll only be selling in their shop, or is it something that people can sort of order online and get sent out all around the world? Because that would be awesome. I need an animal tarot. On the lookout for one. Oh, Joey. I've got an idea for that I wrote down like last year or the year before to do a a comparison of all my animal decks. I'm thinking I might buy the Orion's animal for my birthday, even though I've just bought this and the Tattoo Tarot. But, you know, in for a penny, in for a pound, and 3 is the magic number. So if I'm going to get decks for my birthday, might as well make it 3, right? So I'm thinking once I've purchased the Orion's animal, I will then do that video, because I'm like, I've got that deck coming in. But for animal decks, it depends what kind of thing you want. Do you want anthropomorphized animals? Do you want a Smith Waite, but it's animals? So there's the Northern Animal Tarot, which is a Smith Waite but animals. There's the Tarot of the Magical Forest, which is my all-time favorite deck of all time. Which is basically a Rider-Waite Smith with animals. You've got things like the Wild Unknown, the Wooden Tarot, which is a bit more out there. You've got the Anima Mundi Tarot, which is a sort of a hybrid deck where you've got situations and animals, but then the cards are very pippish. What else? And the Animal Wisdom Tarot, which has been renamed last year the Spirit Animal Tarot, which I'm not impressed with the renaming of that deck, but there we go. There's the Oak, Ash and Thorn by Stephanie here. That's an animal deck and is so pretty. Yeah, there's loads. There's more than that. I'm just listing the ones that I have or that I'm drawn to. I'm intrigued by. Oh, there's an alchemy deck coming, Donna. I had no idea. I still haven't got her archetypes deck, which I really want. It's coming out in May, but there's no images online. Okay. And Sandra's got some Kickstarter decks coming. Which ones are those, Sandra? I read different ways with different deck systems. Yeah, because I did a live about this last year, didn't I? Does the deck determine or decide the way that you read? And it very much does for me. One of my favorite things to do, and like Kelly is saying, great to have the different options for me, says Deanne. I personally love the Anima Mundi. I do too. Donde está soy Anima Mundi? Oh, I put it in my tarot box because I was using it for photos for my Etsy shop, but I've put it away and sort of changed up some of the decks that I was using so that my photos weren't too samey. Cannot wait for the Alley Man Tarot. It was so much fun for me to be part of being an original member of the Facebook group. Oh, it's because people helped us make it, didn't they? Oh, was B in here? I didn't see B pop in. B came and B went. Well, hello, B. I apologise if you said hello and I missed you saying hi. And thank you for joining in. I reckon Kickstarter, can't recall which though. People talking about decks that they've backed on Kickstarter. I've been looking at the Arc. It's a bit kitsch, but I like the colours. The Arc Tarot. I've not heard of that one. The Gentle Tarot is quite animally as well. I've been eyeing that one up. I was thinking of messaging Beth Maiden and asking her if she was thinking of if she plans to stock the pocket edition of the Gentle Tarot, because I think it's such a cute round snuggly deck that I would want the pocket version. So we will see. Has your tree been moved or been taken down? What tree? Oh, my Christmas tree. Christmas tree's gone. I put it down at the made it sound like take it to the vets and put it down. I took it down on Saturday. I wanted to take it down on Epiphany, but I was tired and couldn't be asked, basically. You were fine. You said it very sweetly. I'm glad to hear it, because sometimes I'm about as subtle as a bull in a china shop, as my mum is always telling me. Speaking of scissors, I ordered some Guggenheim shears yesterday. Saw an ad and caved. Ooh, I've not heard of those before. Are those fancy? There's been updates on progress on Kickstarter. Oh, is this the Aliman deck? Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. I had the Animal Totem Tarot before and it really didn't work for me, but the book is really good. Yeah, I had a look at that one. I heard the book was really good, but I really didn't like they had the Dreamcatcher paw print in some of the cards and then on the backs, and it was just a bit like, it made me feel a bit icky. I was like, I don't think this is like a native deck, but it's using native imagery, and I'm like, made me feel like no. Oh, bollocks, need to run to a meeting. Bye, Diane. Take care. I'm running about 10 minutes behind on people's bloody comments. I wish YouTube allowed closed captioning for lives. Yes, also because I speak very quickly. I apologise. It is a thing with the way my brain is wired. I apologise. It's, yeah. The Embroidered Graveyard Oracle is by the same people. Yeah, I figured. Thank you, Stephanie, by the Embroidered Forest. I thought it might, because you mentioned them together, and obviously the Embroidered Forest is very pretty and embroidered. Oh my God, with the drilling. Can you hear that? I have The Last Unicorn on my list and The Shadow of Oz, which are in the US, so will cost a bit. The Last Unicorn Tarot. Oh my God, I was obsessed with that cartoon as a kid. The stuff we used to watch as a kid in like the 80s, and kids of the 70s and the 80s had way more like hardcore traumatizing films and cartoons, like The Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, Willow, Krull, The Last Unicorn, Watership Down. Like loads of like really like The Never-Ending Story with the horse and Atreyu. Oh my God, yeah. Legend, all that good stuff. Lots of good. No wonder I'm into like D&D and fantasy. Oh, so Smoke, Ash and Embers is the SAE, and I'm thinking self-addressed envelope. I'm such a banana. Woman Who Sees. I want the Spirit Keeper's Oracle of Echoes and Claire de Lune Lenormand. Yeah, animal decks can be more complicated than you realise, Sarah. And I'm just looking at your little doggy in your profile picture. Yeah, and I find that because now I've got several animal decks. Oh, I've got the Isidore Tarot, which is also an animal deck. But it's, and then different decks will use different animals for different cards. So then it gets a bit like, well, which animal is which? So I went through a phase of loving animal decks, and I went through a phase of like really not loving animal decks. And now I'm like, I'm just going to have to, I just take each animal deck as it comes, and whatever's been chosen, like which animal for which card, I'm like, I just go with it. Anthropomorphic creeps me out, says Joey. So definitely not a fan of the Tower of the Magical Forest. Fair enough. Hello, you all right, my dear? Wandering Mountain, Bardic Path, Jamie, you're right. Kickstarters I'm waiting for is a crystal deck, forgot the name. The Octopus Tarot, and 3 Vinnie James R. Eads decks in tins. Oh, I love a tinned tarot. Oh, wow, Kelly, just found the Orions. This looks awesome. Dangerous coming to Amazon. Yeah, right. It looks beautiful. And the Botanic Tarot looks stunning. Probably it's a bit more out there because it's all plants. It's all flowers for each card. But that black background with that beautiful, yummy artwork, the colors are just chef's kiss. I can just taste them. My mouth watering. Just thinking like the colors, because I can taste colors. Oh, Nomi's come upstairs. She just got back from a walk at the park. Hey, Boo Boo, do you want to come say hi? Come say hi. How is falling off more? Hello, Boo Boo. Come say hi. Did you have a nice walk? Come say hello. Are you tired now? Did you have a nice walk? Say hello to the peoples. Yeah. Oh. Hi. You're just going to stand like that. You can sit down, you know. You're just going to stand like a weirdo. What are you doing? Please sit down. Put your butt down. What are you doing? You can't sit. Do you want to sit like this? No. Oh, tuck that tail in. There we go. So let's have a look. Go back to the mini visions deck too, says Donna. Antiquities of Magic. There's so many. I'm so out of the loop. I feel like I've been in a cave for 3 years and now I'm just sort of blinking into the sun and seeing all the decks for the first time in a long time. What is it? What are you doing? Howard the Duck movie? What? Oh, what the Howard the Duck movie? Was that an 80s thing? I don't remember that one. I don't think I saw that. Aquarius Owl, hello. Oh, you're driving to work. Oh my God, I hope I'm not distracting you. Bloody hell. Boo Boo, you want any snuggy baby cuddles? Come on, dear. Oh, I know. There we go. You're not enjoying this, are you? No. Sometimes she likes, well, I call baby cuddles. Sometimes she insists on baby cuddles, but I think she wants to lay on the bed. There we go. There we go, Boo Boo. Good girl. So let me just catch up with Howard the Duck is so messed up. I just think of him from like being in Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff. The Wicked Depiction Tarot deck, it's up for pre-order, but I don't know if they do international shipping. It's by A Touch of Magic and the Wicked Depiction Photography Studio. I've not heard of that, Regina. So many decks, just so little time and so many decks. The Somnia Tarot, not heard of that one. Hello, Amanda. Have an Android, the CCR is talking about closed captions. Got the mini Wild Unknown today. Hi, Rona. It's great. How are you liking it so far? I know you've only just got it, but what are you feeling? Project Refined Life. Hello. You're tempted by the Botanica deck. Isn't it beautiful? It's a bit pricey. I think the production quality on that is going to be quite high. It's so stunning. Bye, Donna. Thank you for joining in. Lovely to see you, my dear. Seeing images of the Somnia Tarot gives me anxiety and exaggerates my claustrophobia. Wow, I don't think I've heard of it. I'm just going to give it a quick Google. Somnia Tarot. Always type. How often do people go to type tarot and end up typing in tart? Because I do it all the time. Oh, the Somnia Tarot. Whoa, what is my laptop doing? My laptop's been freaking out a bit recently. Can you still see me? I don't know what is going on with my laptop. My laptop has been playing up for the last few months, and it's not even a year. Well, it's just over a year old. I'm going to have to do some, what do you call it? Did my video camera cut out for a minute there, just out of interest? Because, yeah, it's been really playing up. Yeah, the Somnia Tarot, I do. That's the really arty deck. I actually really do like that. So the Somnia Tarot, is that still just an indie deck? It's not been picked up mass market, has it? Love my rockabilly look, says Rona. Thank you. This is one of my go-to looks. Even if you see pictures of me from like 15 years ago, I've still got this exact same do-rag in my hand, almost exactly. I've had this top for like forever. Tried and true. So I'm really sorry. I'm just a bit thrown off by how weird my laptop just went then. It really had a moment, and like the screen was just full of the tabs at the top of my window repeated over and over in lines. It keeps like freezing and doing weird stuff, so I don't know if I need to do some maintenance on it. I don't quite understand what's happening with it, but I can't really afford to replace my laptop again in just over a year. Very frustrating. So shall I do a profound and profane reading before I finish? Because I've been on for over an hour already, which is, where does the time go? No. Let me get the decks. Oh, Boo-Boo, are you okay? What are you doing all the way over there? Do you want to go into Snuggie? Come. You want to go into Blankie? Come on. You want to be snuggy, don't you? Because the window's open. It's a bit colder for you. Oh, there we go. Yeah, tuck you in. There we go. Do you want a toy? You want a piff? There we go. Good girl. Sorry, she likes to be snuggled in a blanket, so just make sure that she's... Yeah, I've switched it on and off again before, Rona, and restarted it and stuff, but it's a problem that keeps on going. Like, it's something that's been happening on and off the last few months where it will, like, freeze and stuff. And at that point, I can't Control-Delete or anything. I just have to force start it, which I think... force shutting it down, which I think is then causing it to glitch even more. It's like a Ouroboros of technical bullshit. Okay, so let's do a profound and profane reading. Yeah, I love the Somnia looks really Mercury retrograde in tech, says Joey. Yeah, but that's the thing, Joey. It's been going on and off for like months. So it's been going on since August last year, and it was a year old in October, just gone. So it's not that old. It shouldn't be freaking out. But there we go. So let me get the arcane bullshit. Got both of the guidebooks in case I need them. And I can't switch it on and off at the moment, obviously, because I'm alive, but I will do that after I've been live. So let's do for profound. Let's pull a card from the... Let's turn this down so you can see what's going on. From the Wild Unknown Pocket Edition, which is just so cute. Oh, I forgot to check to see what you thought about it. Did you say you liked it, Rona, the Wild Unknown Pocket Edition? I really love the cardstock as well. Now I'm just doing a single card pull, so I'm not going to do my usual shuffling technique that I do for my own readings. We'll be here for a month of Sundays, but I will just riffle shuffle a bunch. So profound and profane. Ooh, Two of Swords for our profound. And for our profane, which is a bit more of a rigmarole, nearly dropped all of those, bit more of a rigmarole because this is a chunky boy. So I'm going to do what I do. Which way is the right way up? Yep. I'm just going to break it up into a bunch of piles. Let's go to this pile. Okay, just going to riffle shuffle this. This is going to be the deck pile that we pull from. The Queen of Holes. Okay, so we've got our 2 cards from our profound and our profane decks. So 2 of Swords from the Wild Unknown, very sparse, very pippish. Instead of the woman we see with the blindfold holding them up like this, we see what appears to be some kind of a sun in eclipse, lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, or maybe a black hole sucking in all of this, like, because this is like these radiation coming out, so it almost feels like, to me, it feels like the sun is eclipsed by the moon, and then I love that it's sort of balanced in between the two. A card of decision making, a card of mental acuity and sort of mental balance even. So it can be around decisions, but it can also be around literal like mental balance and how you're feeling in your headspace. And like I said last time, I hadn't, because I had the indie version, I've never had the guidebook. So I'm actually going to have a look at the guidebook for this as well, just because I've never had the chance to before getting this mini one. And I'm quite enjoying the way that Kim Krans has been writing about the card 6 of Swords. Where's the 2? 8 of Swords. Hang on, I'm going the wrong way. Ace of Swords, 2 of Swords, blocked vision and stalemate. Well, that would make sense then. So that's definitely a sun in eclipse, because the sun illuminates everything, right? And if it's an eclipse, it's blocking everything out. So it says the 2 of Swords depicts 2 opposing forces that have reached a stalemate. You cannot progress forward with either a relationship or a life decision. There's an answer that's being blocked, maybe by choice. Maybe many times this card will indicate you do not wish to face the truth. The light will reveal. Oh, almost like willingly standing in the shadow and being unwilling to. Bye, Regina. Hi, Laurie. Being unwilling to face the what's the word? Face the music. I was gonna say, I'm trying to say face the light, as in, but face the music. I don't know. I think I'm mixing my metaphors up there. But for me, this feels more like mental balance for me today. It feels like making sure that you're on an even keel in your headspace. Maybe that's just how I've been recently, so I sort of struggle with the whole brain box. But also it makes me think of scissor blades crossed over that we were just talking about, scissors. But yeah, that sort of mental acuity and mental balance. And then for the profane, we have the Queen of Holes, and she almost looks like she could be made out of wood, and she's got all these holes carved out of her, and she's holding this scepter, and in the scepter there is a wooden door, and it is partially open. So it's like there's all these it's almost like she is riddled with all these holes, and she's anything that she tries to retain will fall out of her. She's not watertight, right? She's like, if she drinks anything, it's all going to come pouring out of her. She's struggling, right? And then, but we've got this door here which could be a glimpse into another realm, another world, another possibility. And she's sort of, it's almost like this eye is staring into this door. So she seems quite unconcerned about being very holy, because she's got other things on her mind. Maybe when we're talking about the balance, the mental balance of our headspace, maybe the way that we feel, like I sometimes joke that I feel like I'm held together by like sticky tape and glue, physically and mentally. And I often feel like this woman, just full of holes and falling apart and not watertight, and which leads to me to feel mentally unbalanced. And actually, when I'm mentally unbalanced, I struggle to make decisions. I feel very overwhelmed and anxious. But maybe it's just about your perception of yourself and the doors of perception. Getting a bit Aldous Huxley in here. And maybe it's all about seeing things from a different perspective, or walking through that doorway and walking away from that. I just want to see what the Queen of Holes is in the book, just because it's always just such silliness. It just cracks me up. I can never find, because it's so difficult to find, and it's meant to be tricky because it's just chaotic, silly deck. The title of the cards just really crack me up. Go to find the Queen of Holes, how quickly can I find her? Please talk amongst yourselves whilst I do that. And I'll probably go over the bloody card that I'm looking for, because I'm like, oh, like I've totally gone past it. What the bloody hell? Oh no, maybe I didn't go straight far enough. There's a card called Aunt Brenda. There's a card called Woman Breastfeeding a VCR. I mean, if you've not got this deck, what are you doing with your life? Where is the Queen of... Oh, there it is. Queen of Holes. Page 60, card 62, page 35. Some things look like entrances, but are really holes. Likewise, some holes are really passages, and certain passages may lead to endless voids. Avoid trying to help strangers, be wary of investments, and stay at least 15 feet away from woodpeckers. Well, that's clearly what's had a go at her, is a bunch of woodpeckers, because she does look like she's made out of wood. But yeah, so what's the deck called, Patrice? It's called the Arcane Bullshit Oracle by Peter Doherty. But if you search Arcane Bullshit, it'll come up. It's so much fun. I've got the indie version that I backed on Kickstarter. It's a real chonky monkey. Ooh. But yeah, I feel like this can be about our perception. We feel like we're falling apart mentally and physically, but really maybe it's about our perception and which sort of door we're choosing to open and view through. I don't know. It's kind of tricky to tie them together, because this is just a whatever deck, this one. But I try. I have enjoyed these readings, Kelly, says Kim. Oh, thank you. SJ, hello. I'm about to sign off, my dear. Just see if I've missed anyone. I'm off. Project Life was going off to go do some yoga. Sounds good. Amber the Page, hello. Mrs. Kelly Bear. Well, actually, it's Ms. I'm such a pedant. But yeah. Gotta go. I saw Regina saying goodbye. I have a suggestion for you. Vampire Le Tarot Interdit, the Forbidden Tarot. I have never heard of that before. Vampire Le Tarot Interdit. Let me write that down. Vampire Tarot. What was it? Tarot Interdit. Ooh. Just pulling that up. Is it new? Or it came out? This item cannot be shipped to your country. Well, I wasn't asking you to ship it to my country. I was just having a look at it. Fine, I'll go to the UK site. Happy? Computers, such two heads. Let's see what happens. Does it come up on the... Ooh, £10.57. What an absolute bloody bargain. Oh, my God. That's just dangerous for me, seeing decks at £10. Hang on, let me just look at some images because it has no pictures of the cards. Ooh, it's like cheesy in that like 80s goth way. A bit like the Le Vampire Tarot, but like I'm into it. Ooh, it's £10. I'm gonna have to look at a walkthrough. Joey, what are you doing to me? Oh my God. Damn it. I'm gonna be drowning in tarot decks. I want to see Art Brenda. Oh my God, there is 100 and like 100. How many cards are in this deck? I don't know if I remember. There are 104 cards. Patrice. I do have a walkthrough of this deck on my channel, though, should you wish to see it in its full ridiculous glory. Better late than never, indeed. You're here. Pip deck with vampires. Yeah, I'm like cheesy but cool. Definitely looks cheesy but cool. Anyway, I'm going to sign off because it has been nearly an hour and a half. My throat is like, what are you doing? And I need to get some water and a cup of tea. And my toes are starting to get cold now, so I do need to put some socks on. But I will say thank you for joining me for this chat about deck lust and what decks we are excited about or decks that we are trying to resist. That's part of the pleasure of it, isn't it? That aching for a delicious, beautiful deck. And yeah, I hope that you all have a lovely rest of day, whatever the time is where you are. We are moving into, it's 3:30, so we're well into mid-afternoon here in the UK. And yeah, I hope that you all stay safe and look after yourselves. And I will see you in my next video. Take care. Ciao.